Hello.
Hi, Dips. Fancy seeing you here.
Bit of a surprise, isn't it?
I know, right?
How's it going?
Good.
Right, so today we have come to adapt the ECU on the Mclaren. What's the situation?
Well, today's the big day, really.
Yeah.
Because we have, well, it's pretty much what we've been leading up to for the whole time we've had this car. Because we have obviously had a lot of work to do on this.
Yeah.
Shut that phone up. Yeah, basically everything from here backwards on the car has been off, out, rebuilt, revamped, reworked. Most specifically, the engine, because this car, when it was crashed, it went upside down in the most recent crash, causing everything to fill up with oil. And with it being used like a track experience car before, it's obviously not been maintained the best. So we sent it off to Ricky at RE Performance, who has completely rebuilt it top to bottom, forged bits and fancy parts to make it stronger because they're like notoriously weak engines. So we kind of want to hear it start, which is kind of the big thing. But we can't do that because of the original ECU, which looks like it's had a bad day to me. Now, am I right in thinking you were hoping that that was going to have like a chip in there that was savable or something?
Yeah, so what I initially did is you opened the ECU up, and I will insert a clip of what we found, but opened the ECU up and the actual processor on there was completely destroyed off the circuit board itself.
Okay.
So you have got another ECU.
Yes. Now, I've learnt my lesson here because on the Porsche, we got a PCM with a non-matching, well, it's closely matching, but not matching part number.
Yeah.
And with this, I made sure that I matched that number perfectly. So 11M1319CP.01, and this one is 11M1319CP.01.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
I thought I did the right thing.
Yes,
but
definitely.
It's still not going to be easy, is it? Because if you were saying this one's off what car is that from?
This is from a 2023,
say on there?
I think it was, or 2022.
Oh no, it says 650S Spider.
Yeah, but the year itself, sorry. So if we look here, I don't know if I can zoom in. Yeah, so that one there is from a 2023.
Oh, okay.
And this one is from a 2015.
Okay.
So there may have been, I don't know, but there may have been like variations in parameters that they'd set from the factory, depending on the engine and any changes that they'd made to the engine when they came out of the factory. So not entirely sure on that, but what we'll do is when we adapt it, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unpair the immobilizer, unpair the ECU, unpair the body control module, unpair the gearbox.
Can you put that thing on the screen now with like numbers and stuff just go everywhere?
That's it. So we'll unpair everything and then we will we'll add the VIN into the new ECU.
Okay.
So we'll get the VIN off the vehicle, we'll add the VIN into the new ECU, and then we can adapt everything back in again. And then fingers crossed, we should be able to get this fired up today.
Absolutely, that's what we're hoping for. So do you reckon then that we'll be able to keep like all the immobilizer functions and everything like that? And
everything will work as it should.
That's crazy.
So it will be like it came out the factory, but just with a new ECU.
Oh, I'm buzzing, I can't wait.
Yeah,
so what's the first step then? What we've got to do?
First thing we need to do is we need to put a battery maintainer on it.
Yes,
to make sure.
Put a battery on it then.
Get the battery. We'll get the battery on it, get the battery maintainer on. I'll connect to it first. We'll read all the information that we need to read off it, and then we can go in and start unpairing everything, and then go back in and then start pairing everything back up again.
We're going to do a couple bits while you do that. So we're going to change out like the starter motor because that's a little bit damaged, the gearbox cooler. What else are we going to do? Put some rads on it. Hopefully we might get a coolant header tank in the time it takes us to do all that, and then maybe we can put fluids in, coolant everything, then we can run it up to temperature if all goes well.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm praying, man. I'm fingers crossed. My fingers, my toes, my legs.
Yeah, that's it.
Everything.
I'm so looking forward to this. I've noticed you've got the exhaust on it as well.
Yes, so we've got a sports cap fitted, and then a titanium X pipe. So if it does start, it's going to be loud.
It looks absolutely gorgeous as well.
We're missing a couple of mounts, so it's a bit loose and floppy, but it will do the job. It's in place. Maybe we can try and do a makeshift clamp and stuff like that. So oh man, I'm so excited. This is it. This is like the moment. This is the moment. Yeah. After this, we like unlock the next stage of the build because then we can start fixing all of the problems that were there before it was crashed, which there's definitely a lot of. So
because a lot of work's gone. Obviously, Ricky's done a hell of a lot of work on this, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He has.
Obviously rebuilding everything.
Mate, he's
They've had
killed
it, have they had it fully stripped down, haven't they?
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, the crank, just everything. I don't know enough about engines.
And if anyone wants to see the build on the engine as well, make sure you go over to Ricky's channel, RE Performance on YouTube, and he has done quite a few videos on this, hasn't he?
Yeah, he gets like mad in depth with it. And like, I didn't realise, like, you know, when you see someone build an engine, you just think, okay, it's buy this part new, buy that part new, replace parts. There's a couple of fancy bits, but I didn't expect it to be as technical as the way he does it. He's like building it to be like a, you know,
perfect.
Yeah, like to the not even the millimetre closer.
Ricky loves to get his geek on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But fair play. I mean, time's going to tell, isn't it, whether he's done a good job. But I have no doubts in that engine at all now.
No, I don't either. But okay, cool. Let's get started. We'll get the battery maintainer hooked up, and then we'll touch base. Right, so first thing we need to do is we'll get the battery maintainer hooked up. As you can see, we've got 13.5 volts on the battery maintainer. Next thing we need to do is we need to get the new ECU installed into the car. So we'll get that all plugged in. So new ECUs all installed. For this, we are using Diagcode for Mclaren to do the coding for the ECU. I will leave the link in the description below as well, so make sure you go and check them out. And if you do want the software, you can get in touch with myself because we are the distributors for it as well in the UK, so we can provide it to you. So currently what we're doing is we're doing a VIN change. As you can see here, it says VIN writing OK, and the request has been accepted. So now we'll do a VIN read and make sure that has now got the original VIN in the vehicle. So currently we basically had an issue with no communication. So what we've done is we've connected the door switch up just so that we can keep the car awake even though the ignition's on. So let's see how that goes. So currently we're trying to unpair the immobilizer on the SBC, and because the vehicle keeps going back to sleep again, we're having to press the door switch button. So we've just plugged the wiring loom in just to get that going, and hopefully that keeps the vehicle awake. Right, so we had operation success on the SBC unpair, which is really good news. And next, we will be going to the powertrain. And again, we need to unpair immobilizer on this as well. And again, this is another 5-minute procedure as well. Right, so we've got operation success on unpairing the PCCU as well. Right. So what we're doing now is we're doing the vehicle alignment configuration. So this will, once it goes through the procedure and it does operation success, it will automatically turn the ignition off, and then we have to leave the vehicle to let it go sleep basically for 10 minutes, and then we can come back and then we can attempt to start the vehicle. So currently what we've done is we've unpaired the immobilizer SBC, we've unpaired the TCU, we've unpaired the ECM, and as you can see the vehicle ignition has gone off. So what we'll do is we'll let that rest for 10 minutes and then we'll come back to the vehicle. So whilst we're waiting for the vehicle to rest, we have noticed that there's some broken wires on the wiring room right next to the ECU. So what we'll do is we'll get them repaired, and then hopefully that should give us communication as well, and just to make sure that it's not causing any other issues. Right, so we have repaired all the wiring. I will close all this up and insulate it all afterwards. We just need to carry on with getting the immobilization done on the immobilizer side of it. So let's get cracking with that. Right, so with this we did attempt to turn the ignition on, not to start it so much but just to get a crank. We've got no crank at the minute. The reason for that is we are going to have to redo the procedure again. We're going to have to unpair the immobilizer again. It's not uncommon for us to have to do this, so yeah, let's start the procedure again. Right, so this is attempt number 2 with unpairing everything. We've managed to unpair the ECU as well, which is fine. And now what we need to do is align the vehicle configuration. So let's get started on that. Operation success. There we go. Finally making some progress. Right, so the alignment's all done. With these, what tends to happen is sometimes you have to do the alignment multiple times. And the way we'll know whether the alignment's done is the start-stop button will stay static. Let's just give that a go.
So you're not crossing your fingers. It's just on.
Not flashing. Oh man. Nope. I think we're going to have to attempt the alignment again. Right, so this is attempt number 3 to align the vehicle, and it has done operation success. As you can see, the ignition's turned off. So what we'll do now is we'll leave that to sleep for about 10 minutes. Once the vehicle goes sleep, then we can come back and hopefully we can give it a try and it should work. Right, so update on the Mclaren. We've attempted to align the vehicle up numerous times now and it's not done it. We don't know if it's something vehicle related or not, but because this ECU's obviously from a 2023 plate, we don't know if the software is different on the ECU. So what we're going to do is we're just going to flash the ECU and then see where we go from there. But what we're going to do now is reprogram the ECU. So what we're attempting to do here is check the firmware on the ECU and see if there's an actual update for that firmware. And if there is, then we'll update it and see where we go from there. Right, so if we look here, you can see the software version currently is M3046 and it will be reprogrammed again, which is odd because it's actually got the right software version on it. Right, so we had a look with Car and it basically is showing the exact software that the original ECU had. So it doesn't look like there's an issue there. So what we're doing is we're just going to re-attempt to unpair everything and then repair the immobilizer and do an alignment again.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So this car is really testing me now to see if I can figure this out. We've tried everything, but we're not going to give up. We are still going to attempt to try and figure it, so let's keep going. Right, again we have unpaired the immobilizer and it's successful, so we'll move on to the next one now. Right, so operation successful again on all the other modules. Right, so we've just done another alignment and, well, unpair all the modules and then alignment of all the modules again. We've disconnected from the vehicle and now we're just going to leave it for about 10 minutes just to settle and go to sleep, and then we can give it another try. Right, attempt number 6. Let's see if this works.
Why am I making noises like that?
That is good news. So we have let the car go back to sleep. We've come back to it, and as you can see here, the stop-start button stays static lit up. So that basically means that all the alignment that we've done has worked. So what we're going to do now is attempt to fire it up and see what happens. Right, so we have built, they've basically disconnected. What did you disconnect on the back?
Coil packs and crank sensor.
Okay, so coil packs and crank sensors have been disconnected. We've welded it over just to make sure obviously it doesn't start, mainly so that we can build up the oil pressure. And now what they're going to do is just check the filter housing just to make sure there's got oil coming up to the top, and then we can attempt to start it. Right, so the guys are literally just checking to make sure there's oil pressure and stuff, and I was just thought I'd do a quick scan on the vehicle. There are a couple of faults under the ECU, nothing major to be honest. There is a fuse that keeps blowing down here as well, and we believe they are all related to bank to on the throttle position sensor. But we're not 100% just at the minute. So what we'll do is once we get the car started and we know it all runs, then we can attack the fuse that keeps blowing in the back here. And also there is a couple of other bits as well, and I can't remember what they are. I think there's a couple of broken wires at the rear that we need to fix still as well. And also the head unit as well, which is obviously just sitting in this state at the minute. I have tried to do a reset on it, but it's not playing ball, so we'll have a look at that and see what's going on with that as well. But yep, definitely making progress. Right, so what we're going to do now is we've checked all the connections at the back. There were some plugs that we've had to unplug and then reconnect back up again, and everything seems to be okay. So we are going to give it a try and see what goes on now. So
I'm praying.
Me too.
If it starts like this, it's a bad day.
So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and like, and also go to Chris's channel and make sure you go and check the full video out on this one.